Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We see you're all still joining in. Welcome. We are starting in just about a minute or under a minute, but we want to welcome you. Thank you for joining this information webinar about the innovation grants. So welcome, everyone. All right, thank you all for coming. We are going to get started now. Najma, if you can take us through.
Yes, thank you, Roslyn. So, hi everyone, and my name is Najma Omari. I'm a Youth Advisory Board member for the AUEU Youth Action Lab program, and we are very glad having you today. So, before we start, please be aware that we are having translations available in French and Portuguese. So, please select the language of your choice as we keep on with the webinar. So select the language of your choice. You can either choose English, French, or Portuguese. Yes, so that's it. And before we start, we will do a quick check-in. So we are really glad having you guys joining us today, and thank you all for joining. Feel free to use the chat to answer the check-in question, which is who are you and where are you joining us from? So please type in your name and the country that you're joining us from on the chat box. Yes, we are looking forward to it. So please use the chat box to mention your name and where you're joining us from. Yes, you can use the poll to answer the check-in question. So please let us know who you are and from which country are you joining us from. Yes, please keep in introducing yourselves. Yes, we would love to see your names and the countries that you're joining us from. And thank you for joining. We are really glad having you. Yes, so we are now doing a check-in, a very quick check-in. So please let us know the country that you're joining from and your names. You can respond to the poll question. Yes, and thank you for joining. We are really glad having you. Yes, please keep introducing yourselves. Just drop us your name and the country that you're joining from. Yes, via the poll. And thank you to those who have filled the poll question already. We are very glad having you today. It's wonderful. We are seeing the names and the countries. Thank you all for joining. We'll just kick off the meeting so soon, but please be aware that we are having translations available in French and Portuguese, so you can select the language of your choice as we keep on with the webinar. Wonderful. I think we are done with this. So thank you so much. Thank you once again. We are very glad having you today, and please take notes that we are having interpretations available in French and Portuguese. But then, as we are moving on, if you have any question, please feel free to drop it on the chat box, and it will be responded just immediately. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining. Alice, over to you.
Thanks a lot. Let's move forward on this session. So for today's agenda, we are going, first is really a space here to welcome you, like we're really happy to have you. We're going to really look briefly on what is the AUEU Youth Action Lab, and then we'll dive deeper in what are the innovation grants and how we can support you in your application and give you tips to build a successful application and to create a strong and clear budget. There will be some space towards the end for Q&As, but in the meantime, if anything is not clear yet, you can use the Q&A box so we can address them later on. So maybe we can go to the next slide. Thank you. Yes, so what is the AUEU Youth Action Lab? It's a program that is financed by the European Union, and it's in collaboration with the African Union. There is two programs. There is the Youth Voice Lab, and here we are for the Youth Action Lab. The Youth Action Lab is really here to finance, to give you the means to put you youth in action. So we have different type of grants from 10 to 50,000 euro. All have a 12 months actions, and to support you, we really have a strong component on capacity strengthening. We have a digital platform to help you collaborate with the different grantee, and also we organize a link and learn for all grantee to meet to discuss the program and what it is to be a youth organization nowadays. If we can go to the next slide, please. So we have different type of grants. We have 4. Today we're here for the innovation grant. So it's really the grants for to support bold and youth-led solutions that tackle global and international challenge at scale. You can apply for, it's between 30 to 40,000 euro. And on side of that, we still have also cooperation, representation, and entrepreneurship grants. And all these grants have like different focus and different amounts. So please, we invite you to have a look at the websites. They also organize webinar to explain in more detail. But what can we go to the next slide, please? What is really important to keep in mind is all the funding that we provide at the Youth Action Lab is really for youth-led organization, because we really want youth to be in the driver's seat. So it's quite important to understand what we mean by youth-led organization. So for the Youth Action Lab, we consider a youth-led organization when the governance and leadership is 100% youth. So maximum older is 35 years old, because we really want young people to really have the primary decision, which are the primary decision maker in the organization. He also include that within the organization, 80% of young people are actually doing program design and delivery. And it's also really important to understand it's not only the organization, but also the project. So we expect the colleagues working on the project to be 100% youth. It's really, really important for us. So that's something we really want to make clear on. This is a program that funds youth-led organization. And now I will give it over to one of the YAB members to present the next poll.
Thank you so much, Alice, and welcome everyone. This is Sophonias. I am one of the Youth Advisory Board. A quick question for you all. Please tell us if you are part of the youth-led organization. We would like to learn more about your organization. Are you part of the youth-led organizations? You can drop it on the chat box so that we get to know you well. And this is for the youth-led organization as well. Okay, go ahead on the chat box. You can say, yes, I am, or also if you would like to provide more details about your organizations, you can also do that. If you haven't heard the question is, are you part of a youth-led organization? Yeah, I see some answers are popping up. Thank you so much. We've got some answer from Nigeria, Malawi, Sierra Leone.
I also see on the poll, Sophonias, quite a number have responded to the poll.
Excellent. Thank you so much for letting us know. Well, then, congratulations. This is for the youth-led organizations. Next up, I would like to call Rosalind to take us to the next slides as well.
Thank you so much. If we can close the poll and we can move to the next slide. And so now we are going to look at what are innovation grants. We're going to walk you through what these are. And to start off, we want to mention the eligible countries for these grants. Keep going on the slide until all the information is there. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so, well, this is an AUEU, Youth Action Lab program. We are focusing on 12 countries in Africa. And these 12 African countries that we're going to focus on and award grants to are Ethiopia, Kenya, Mozambique, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Somalia, Somaliland region, Tanzania, Tunisia, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. So these are the focus countries where we are going to be awarding the grants within Africa. And just to also state the eligibility criteria other than the focus countries, again, reiterating that your organization must be a non-profit organization. So we are not awarding this grant to profit-making organization, even if you are youth-led. You need to be a non-profit making organization. You must definitely be youth-led. Your project as well must be youth-led. And your organization must be formally registered in the focus countries that we have mentioned. And you must have an organization bank account. We are not going to disperse money to personal accounts, but it must be to an organization bank account. And we also need to see that you have a clear governance structure within your organization. And of course, your proposed activities must take place in one of the or more of the 12 countries that we have mentioned. And so what's our offer regarding this grant? So we are availing a budget, a minimum of 30,000 euro and a maximum of 40,000 euro. And for our cohort 2, which is our second year, we are giving grants. We are going to avail 15 grants. So this is quite high competition. And therefore, when you make your application, make it count. And the grants are going to be implemented for a period of 12 months. So from May 2026 to April 2027. And we are going to onboard the selected organizations in the month of May 2026. We also have an annual event that we do with each cohort, and this is our Link and Learn event, which we hold in November or December of each year. So for this current cohort, it will be held in November, December 2026, where we all come together as grantees from the different grant types that we mentioned. So innovation, entrepreneurship, representation, and cooperation. We all come together for a couple of days in one space where we further collaborate. Next slide, thank you. Okay, so now just getting into the real content regarding what we're looking for around innovation grants. So the key question, I guess, is what do we mean by innovations? And so what kind of innovations can you apply for? And as the Youth Action Lab, we are looking at innovation as a very broad term. And we do find that often it's mistaken as only something that is completely new or something just focusing on new technologies. While this could be true, this could be the case in most scenarios, for us, we are looking at innovations as so much more. And therefore, our simple definition and working definition for the innovation grants is that innovation will be about designing, about testing, about scaling, or about improving a new or an existing activity for young people in their own context and with long-term impact. So we want to be able to reach youth-led organizations that not only want to try something new, but those that are seeking to connect as well with their peers and share the results and experience with young people across Africa and Europe. Therefore, your innovation must be linked to a global challenge. We want to see you giving us your ideas around an issue that is faced by young people in their communities around the world. And so when you're looking at a global challenge, we're looking at two major frameworks. We're looking at the Sustainable Development Goals. We're also looking at Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. So those two frameworks should shape the global challenge that you would come up with and you would want to address as an organization. And we're also looking to fund projects that have an intersectional approach. We know that when we look at young people across the globe, issues of intersectionality are key. And we find that usually funds, when they come, they are earmarked for a particular theme. For example, you will get a fund that only wants to focus on education or on climate change. But under this innovation grant, we're opening up to ideas that want to find two or more intersectionalities. That means two themes, for example, climate and education. That could be, one example that you want to address. So we look forward to receiving your applications and really focusing on those key areas. My colleague will take us through the next slide. Thank you.
Roslyn. It was really glad hearing from you thank you for the great insights. So as for now, guys, we would love to hear from you. So what interests you most about these grants? As in, what part of it really stands out or speaks to your work? What do you love about the grants? So please feel free to drop your answer on the poll and we'll be glad reading from it. So the question is, what interests you most about this grant? So let's keep the answers coming on the poll. We are looking forward reading from it. So we would love to hear from you guys. So please feel free to use the poll to answer the question. It says, what interests you most about this grant? Wonderful. Keep the answers coming. Yes, thank you for those who have responded already. Thank you all for your responses. For those who haven't responded, you can use the poll to drop us your answer. So the question was, what interests you most about these grants? And we are very glad reading from you guys. Wonderful responses. We are very glad. Thank you all for your responses. We are very glad hearing from you, hearing from your feedback. And Alice, over to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So I think now we're going to look at how you can apply, because we have a specific platform to do the application. So together we're going to go on the AUEU Action Lab website, because it's from there that you can find all you need to be able to apply. So yes, perfect. So first you need to go on the AUEU Youth Lab website, and specifically you click on grant and you go on the innovation page. And once you're here, it's really here that you can find all the information to be able to apply. So you have the text for the call for proposal. You can see like which organization is eligible, like for what kind of activities. And then you need to scroll below, exactly, yeah, like we do now. And here on how to apply, you can find the different funding manual. So there is English version, but also French and Portuguese, because these 3 languages are the official languages of the AUEU Action Lab. You can also find the sample of the application. So you can apply only online, but if you want to have all the questions to be able to discuss it with your colleague, you can find the sample, and you can also find the budget template in the 3 languages. So what's really important to keep in mind is it's only one application per organization. So first you need to really have a look at the different grant type we offer, so you can register for the right grant type for your organization. Organization that applied last year but were unfortunately rejected can reapply again, so that's not a problem. They can follow the same step. So you can click on one of the pinky button. You need to choose your language, because for each language it's a specific link. So first, if you're more comfortable in Portuguese or French, you can do that. So once you click on the link, you will open a registration form that you can see now. You need to click on the next page, and then you can fill in, it's like, basically it's eligibility criteria, the basic eligibility criteria, because if you don't feel, if you don't comply to the eligibility criteria, you cannot apply to the program. So it's really the first check to see, like, if your organization is youth-led, if you're located in one of the focus countries, and also different question, like if you don't have already funding from the EU on this specific program. So you need to fill in this form, then you include your detail, so your account is created, and once your account is created, you will receive an email. So we're sorry, we tried our best, but the platform, which is called ON Grip, so if pay attention when you see ON Grip in your inbox, it looks a bit like a spam, but it's not a spam. So you will receive a link because you're now registered on the platform, and once you register on the platform, click on the link, and then you can go on the ON Grip platform, as we can see now. So this is your space for you. You need to go in My Application, as we can see now. You click on your application, that is, this is this one, because you shouldn't have more application. You can only have one application. So here in your detail, you don't really need to pay attention to your detail. You need to go directly to narrative. And then here you can start to fill in your questions. So please pay attention. Some of the questions have, like most of the questions are compulsory. And some are like drop down, some have like number of character limited. So it's really important to pay attention to that. The first thing is you can go from one page to another of the application, so you can have really the full overview. At the first page is really like to gather all the documentation from your organization, the budget, but then later it's all the different questions. And I think we're going to go through the application together with my colleague Rose. But what's important here to know is we only accept application that we receive through the ON Grip platform. And you can follow, once you submit it, you can also follow the status of your application. This platform is really here to make sure that the whole process is fair and transparent for applicants, because the reviewer will also go on this platform, the same platform, to assess your application. And I think we're good in all the explanation. Yes, one thing that is new from last year is if you go in detail, there is nothing for you to fill in here, but you can click on the budget template link in case you forget the budget template where it is, and then you can download it again. So that's one of the things that is new from compared to last year. And for the rest, I think we will go through the application with my colleague Rose, and then we will see how to make like a clear budget, and we can go back to more detail on that. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we want to look at how we can build a successful application. And so we're just giving you a preview again of the application form. And I'm just going to run through the elements of the application form, which are key and what you will find when you start your application. And it's important to note that you need to answer each question or each section on the application form. So the first thing is we want to hear about the context and the problem statement and the rationale of your idea or the project that you are proposing. And then you need to give us a brief description of the project goal, the objectives, and the activities that you want to do. You will be guided on the application form in terms of the length of your responses. And then we also want you to just briefly describe your monitoring and evaluation process of the project. It's important that we know how you're going to ensure that you're tracking the different elements of your project. And we want you to also show how the project will be sustainably impact young people. So we want a project that we can be able to see the intended results or the outcomes and how these will impact the young people and how that can be sustained. We also want you to be able to describe to us how you plan to continue your project after the project period ends. Remember, we mentioned that this is for 12 months, 1 year. And so after the project ends, how are you going to continue with some of the project activities? How are you going to hand over maybe even some of the part of the project? So we want to hear from you in terms of the sustainability of the project itself. And we also want to, know that you do have the capacity to implement your proposed project. So one of the questions we're going to ask you is you just give us a brief profile of your capacity of the organization and the different members within the organization who are going to implement the project. And what is important, because our application form is similar across the grant types, but what will be unique for the innovation grant is as you are putting together your application, you need to clearly show these three elements that I'm going to highlight. Number one is the global challenge that you are addressing. So as you are responding to each of those elements, the context, the description of your project goal, the impact of your project, we need to see the global challenge that you are addressing. Secondly, you need to show us the intersectionalities that you are also incorporating into your application. They need to be very clear. And we need to see that the application is either a new design, something you are testing, or something you are improving. So we expect to see what the innovation is within your project. You know, I think different people can write projects across the globe, but for this particular grant type, we want you to focus on what we are looking for regarding an innovation. And so those are the elements you need to watch out for as you are responding on the application form. We can move to the next slide, and my colleague will come again to take us through. Thanks, Alice.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rose. Thanks a lot, Rose. So some tips for you, like to prepare for this application process. So one thing is to really like look at the application form itself to see also which documents you need to gather, because there is a space for you to include your policies, but also like your legal documents. It's really important for us to also have this document to see what like how your organization is at the moment. So all there are some required documents that are compulsory. So please pay attention to that, because sometimes that's why if there is a missing field, you won't be able to apply. So one thing as well to pay attention to is like the word limit. Sometimes for each question, there is sometimes a word limit. So you can click on the little I at the question, which is information, and then you can see the word limit if there is any. Please double check everything before you want to submit, because once you submit, won't be possible for you to be able to modify your application. And as always, for all application process, please avoid a last minute submission, because maybe something will, maybe a field is missing, or maybe like the character are too long, so you will need to rework a bit. So it's really important to plan ahead to make sure that your process goes smoothly. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yes, so now we have a question for you.
Thank you so much, Alice and Rosalind. I assume that there has been lots of information for you guys, so we just want to give you a little break. So give us if you're feeling capable and ready to go through the application process with all the informations you have received. How are you feeling now? Do you feel you are confident to go through the application process? We would just like to hear how are you feeling now. Please go to the chat box and drop how you are feelings about the application process. I see hearts and thumbs up coming. I assume this means you are confident, but let's see how many of you are confident in the application process. Thank you so much for those reactions and text messages. I see a lot of people are feeling very well confident and very much excited. So far, so good. All right. I see a lot of people are very much okay with it, but if you have any questions, please go to the questions and answer or the chat box to drop your questions. There are other people at the background replying to your text, and I am sure this recording will also be available on our media outlets. So don't forget to go to the website, YouTube's and other platforms to get the recordings again. Back to you, Rosalind.
Great, thank you. And so now we're going to look at how to create a strong and clear budget. And my colleague Alice is going to take us through.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rose and Sophonias. So we wanted to put really a section on the budget because it's the part that we received the most question on. So on the funding manual, there is like a dedicated page, it's just for the budget detail to give you more explanation. So you can really, the invitation here is to really go through the funding manual and especially the parts on the budget to get more information. There is an official budget template, and it's really important that you use it to include your budget for your application, because the application that won't use this budget template would not be considered. The reason we have a specific budget template is because there are some requirements that like for us that are really compulsory for us, so you can really assess your application correctly. So first, your budget needs to be in euro because that's the donor regulation. So you can have, of course, there is a space for your own currency, but it has to be exchanged in euro. Please include the exchange rate that you used, specifically the date, so we can be really clear for the person assessing your budget. We didn't include a strict cap on salary and overheads because we know that organizations struggle the most with those. Most of the funding is really project allocated. So we didn't want to put a strict cap because also some project can be more like heavy on personal than others. So it's really up to you, the youth organization that is applying and the team, to really see what is necessary and for the project you want to implement. Please just be reasonable and justify your costs. So that's something that we really want to emphasize on, is all the expenditure that you include in your budget for this project application needs to be directly linked to the project activities. So even if you have some staff costs, it has to be for staff really supporting the project. And it's really important for you to make it clear how it's linked also to the different activities. So we invite you to use the same language. So please, once you fill in the budget, but also your work plan and your application, have a look to see like if the language is coherent. If you use the same way to describe a specific activity in the budget, but also in the work plan and application. So we can really make the link and see how you want to use the grant for. One thing that's also important to keep in mind, and you will see it in the funding manual, is that we have two mandatory costs for all applicants. One is related to capacity building. So 5% of the grant you apply for needs to be allocated for capacity building for your organization. You don't need to already have a plan, but it's crucial that you keep that budget aside. So it's a budget that won't go for your overheads, for your staff, or for your project activities. It's really a budget that will be used to strengthen your organization and your team. Of course, if you already have ideas on how to use this budget, you can include it. But at the moment, what we request is to include 5% of the budget of your grant for capacity strengthening. And as my colleague Rosalind was mentioning before, there is a Link and Learn event held every year. And we ask each grantee to set aside a budget specifically for this event to be able to accommodate 2 persons going to this event, because we don't want any grantees to miss out on this opportunity. And then it's easier to already set aside this budget for the specific event, that's to later on see how you can shift some budget from your project activities to be able to attend the Link and Learn. We don't have the location yet for the Link and Learn because that's one of the questions that we received the most. So unfortunately, that will be decided maybe at the same moment that we will assess your application, or even at the beginning of the awarded applicants to really start their implementation themselves. So what you need to pay attention is it will be in one of the 12 focus countries in Africa. So that's one thing that is sure. And we invite all applicants to look out on the higher hand, like it's better to actually allocate more budget for this event. And then if it's not spent, you can reshift it to your project activities. If we can go to the next slide, please. So we wanted also to give you some tips because there are some common mistakes that we see in some of the budget that we receive. Is like include a budget, but you don't include any justification. So it's really important for us to know, yeah, that's the budget line you included is justified, and we don't want applicant also to be too vague. So please be specific. Like if you know what you want to do, mention it in the budget as well. We don't want to receive a really good application. So your narrative is amazing. You really like developed the reply to each question thoroughly, but then on the budget side, you just put 2 lines for staff, 2 lines for project activities, and 1 line for overheads. This is not what we want to see. We really want to see how you're going to articulate in your, like how you're going to spend the grant, you know, specifically. On the funding manual, on the specific page, you will see there is some costs that are ineligible. So please review the guidelines to make sure that you don't include any of these costs, because if you include any ineligible costs, we won't be able to fund you, unfortunately. And pay attention to the grant amount. So please don't include a budget for the double of the grant amount. You really need to be in line with the grant amount you request, so we can see how you're going to spend the totality of the grant amount. And again, please don't wait last minute, because we know that working out on a budget can be also stressful, especially if you wait for the last minute. So double check your calculation and be sure to keep some time to make sure that it's aligned with your application. And I think that's it for me. And we can go to the next slide. So I think we already asked you this question earlier, but now we also add some budget information. So maybe you can tell us if you feel comfortable with the guidelines and advice we gave you so far. And after that, we will have some time for a Q&A. Thank you.
Please use the poll to respond on the question. It's how comfortable do you feel applying now? Yes, keep the answers coming. Thank you for your responses. That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, so far from the 66 people that reply, like 95% of them are comfortable in applying. So that's really good to hear. Maybe we should go to the part for the question that applicant may have. So there is the Q&A box, as you can see. But since we're relatively small group, I will say, you can also feel free to raise your hand, and we can take also maybe some questions. I think it might be a bit more interactive. Shall we do like that? Okay. So maybe we can take one question from Roy. I see your hand was up first. Please go ahead. You can unmute yourself, I think.
Yeah. Can you get me? Good morning.
Good morning. We
From,
can hear you.
yeah, good morning from Sierra Leone. I'm happy that you you have the interest of we the youths. Of course, we have all the ideas. We have all the, I mean, uh, the mindset to like change the society. But I just have few questions because during I don't know the name of the speaker, the second to last speaker. She was talking about intersectional approach, and she was so she placed more emphasis on, I mean, education and climate change. So my question here is, we at the Zero Corruption Campaign, I just want to give us a little trip. We are the Zero Corruption Campaign. We are a youth-led organization. We are really into the, I mean, fighting corruption and of course governance. We also have interest in climate change. Of course, we also have interest in education. So, like for example, if we decide to like design a project that like give a platform to young people. I don't want to discuss my project here, but giving the platform to young people either by an online link or like giving them a voice, again bringing them together to like know about these global challenges, and of course taking them on agenda 2060 and the SDG. I want to know if this type of program is eligible under the innovation grant. And for me, I just think it's innovation, but I don't want to know if this type of application is eligible, because I don't want to bump into any application and at the end of the day, get disqualified. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for your question and wanting to seek clarity. So yes, like we started, we said, innovations, we're looking at them as a very broad term. So your innovation could be around the activity that you're doing and how you are doing it. It won't be confined just to technology. But of course, there are some who will come up with an idea with an innovation around technology. And regarding the intersectionalities, that was just an example. There are many, intersectionalities you can look at, and it's not the only criteria. What's important is that you can show that it's an innovation and that it's addressing a global challenge. So those are very key. And the climate and education was just an example. And we look forward to your ideas around this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can pick anyone else, Alice. Maybe Roy, you had your hand up for a while. You can unmute and ask your question. If Roy can't, I see Marvin Dos Santos. Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Rosalind, for the floor and all the youth lab team. I do have one question. We have a youth organization, but it's a global youth organization with national chapters in some of the 12 countries here in Africa mentioned. But our organization is registered in the US. So, but we have activities in all of these national chapters. For example, Zambia and Kenya, just to name a few here. But I wanted to know, how will the eligibility play in this case, that the organization as a whole in the US, but we do have activities in these 12 or in some of these 12 African countries, and it's the project we want to deliver. It's based here in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin. I would advise that you also just send us an email. If you go to our website, you will see an email so that we can address it very specifically. I have questions as well I want to ask so that we respond to you very clearly. But just in a nutshell, to say for the 12 focus countries, we expect that the organization, and whether it's a chapter or an association within a bigger, global structure, has to show that it is also legally registered in the country it's operating from, and that it has its own bank account, so it has autonomy over the use of the grant. And of course, the activities must be implemented in that country. So yeah, those are the eligibility criterias. And why I said you can write to us so that we are very clear about just how you are structured with the different chapters. I hope you are clear and we can move ahead.
Yeah, we'll follow up with an email. Thank you.
Thank you. We have so many hands. Some of you can go to the Q&A in case we don't get time to respond to all the hands. But let's see how far we go, because on the Q&A, we'll be able to follow up with responses as well. We can go to Charles Makongo.
Yes. Thank you to all the facilitators. My question is, what is the anticipated number of beneficiaries based on the stipulated budget between 30,000 euros to 40,000? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charles, for that question. We do not, these are your ideas. So you come up with your idea and you tell us who your beneficiaries will be and how many you'll be able to reach. We are not prescribing or expecting a certain range. And remember, it's also an interplay of how you also do your budget, as Alice was explaining. There are certain things we also want to see within your budget. So it really depends on your idea.
Yeah.
Great.
And if I may add on that, Rose, one thing that we also see is sometimes staff costs are really underestimated. So we really invite all applicants to really think thoroughly on who's going to work on the project if the grant is awarded, to make sure that they have enough capacity to be able to do a smooth implementation. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Alice. And, for us, this is, these grants for youth, by youth, with youth. And so as much as we can, we really want to make sure that we get your ideas, which you implement. What we are providing is just a framework which we believe is a flexible framework for you to work with. I'm not sure how much time we still have. You can guide me, Alice, but maybe I'll ask Oluwamuyiwa. You've had your hand up for a while. I hope I pronounced that okay.
Good afternoon, yeah, Rosie. Thank you for the information shared. I have a couple of questions. I think I'll just stick with one or two. First, I wanted to know if the application is the only stage of the process, if we're going to be having maybe an interview after, or we're supposed to put in all the effort in just this application. And secondly, I wanted to know, I know you already said it has to be youth-led and a couple of other things, but are there more specific things that the reviewers will be looking out for? Maybe you could share. And maybe the last question is, do we have any maybe past winners of grants that we could look up to really understand what kinds of projects that you're looking out for?
Okay, thank you so much for those three questions. So for the first one, we do have a very clear review form. So we expect that as we have gone through the application form, you will need to respond to everything, that is asked for on that application form, because that is really the basis we are going to use in terms of assessing your application. There are two main stages of the assessment. The first one will be done just to check that you are eligible in all the criteria that we have mentioned. And then our Youth Advisory Board, and we've got two of them here today, Sophonias and Najma, they are the decision makers. They are at the heart of making the decision on selection, but they will be using an assessment form where they will be rating every area of the application form based on how you respond. And so really you should make sure that you've put all your effort on that application form, have made it clear, responded to every question, and really showing the elements we discussed around the innovation grants. And then afterwards, we will do a due diligence process just to check, certain things to do with compliance issues. And during that period, we will have a face-to-face meeting with the pre-selected grantees just to meet you and maybe further ask any other questions before we get into contracting. But just remember, the application form is your best sell for these grants. Alice, did you pick the other two questions?
No, but actually, because Rose, in the Q&A box, I wonder if you could guide a bit more like the applicant on what is a successful application, because that's one of the question that comes up so many times. So if you have any other guidance for applicants on that regards, I think that would be really helpful for them.
I think with a successful application, the first thing, obviously, eligibility is clear and it's non-negotiable. So you need to ensure, when you go back to the funding manual, you need to ensure that your organization is eligible, and there are a number of criteria that we talk about. What we mean by a youth-led organization. And then we're also looking at your eligibility for the innovation grant type. And there we are looking at, you've addressed the global challenge. And for the global challenge, we gave you two frameworks, the SDGs and the Agenda 2063. So when you look at those two frameworks, you need to be able to be very clear on what the global challenge you are addressing is. And then the issue around intersectionality, it's key, and it's really up to you how you frame it. So we'll be looking also at, organizations that will be able to really frame that within their application. So those are really your like eligibility elements in terms of the organization and in terms of your application. And of course, we will then look at, how convincing your application is in terms of the context, in terms of what you intend to do, how realistic it is. We also look at how your work plan and your budget are speaking to each other, and the impact you intend to show within the 12 months, and also whether your project is really showing that it can be put to scale, or it can show impact even beyond just the context you're operating in. So those are all the different elements that will ensure that you are successful. And like we said, for the innovation grant, it's 15 grants that we are awarding. And already on this call today, we were over 100. So the competition is quite stiff, but if you just follow all the elements and I guess really show what the innovation is, you are very likely to be successful. And just ensure that you meet the eligibility criteria before you start applying.
Thanks a lot.
I hope that helps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Rose. I hope you really speak to the participant today. Yeah. So there is on the website, because I see also some questions in the chat box about like the different grant type and how you can see which grant type is better suited for your organization. So we really invite participants and applicants to go through the website, have a look at the funding manual, really see like how the different grant type we offer can really benefit your organization, you know. So that's it's only you that can really assess what is the best suited grant for your organization. So that's one thing. And I was thinking that maybe we can take one more questions. What do you think, Rose? I think we have enough time now, but maybe one question left. Maybe
yeah,
Susan?
maybe we can go to those with their hands up.
Yes.
Who did you pick? Yeah.
I'm suggesting Susan. I asked you to unmute already. Don't know if you can see.
Thank you. Yes, I can. Thank you. So I have two questions. Number one, my project is at the ideation stage. Is it eligible? And number two, I just recently, like 2 days ago, registered my organization. So I don't know how long it will take for me to get the certificate, maybe a month. Is there a problem, or will it sail through?
Thanks for your question. Oh, please
go ahead. Yeah, so we are looking at obviously organizations. That's one of the eligibility criteria, that you are registered in the country of your operation. And so if you apply now, you'll be taking quite a big risk because we close our applications early January. And by then you should have also shown us your registration certificate. But we also look for organizations that have been implementing. We want to see the other projects that you have also done. So in your case, since you are only starting, I don't think you'll be eligible. Maybe we can have one more. I want to see who we can pick. The others don't have their mics, so I'm not too sure if they'll be able to speak if we pick them.
I ask Isa if you. Sorry, I completely picked randomly a name, and I allow you to talk. So I'm not sure.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, go ahead, Isa.
We can hear you.
Okay. Okay. First, I want to say a very big thank you for the opportunity, especially one that has to do with providing the required capacity to young people. These are platforms that many young people across Africa need, and there is a huge one, hoping that it will expand moving forward, and young people will benefit from this rather than preferring to go to the Mediterranean Sea and die there, which has been very devastating over the years. A quick one, I was asking also, there are areas that I need a bit of clarity on. We have an institution that focuses on academic excellence, which is called Center for Academic Excellence and Research, based in Sierra Leone. And there are a couple of areas we've been working And one of those areas has to do with the equipping of science lab. And Sierra Leone, like 90% of public schools do not have access to science laboratories. So I was asking if this could be fit under innovation since it's well operation, or could it be fit under entrepreneurship project like such that is focusing on education and a couple of other components involved in it. So that is just the clarity that I was hoping for, because I'm sure if we got it wrong where it fits, then that in itself would serve as a disadvantage to the success of the project.
Okay, yeah, that's quite a specific question, and there's no yeah, it's a bit difficult to respond specifically as you've asked it. And so I will refer you to the Innovation Funding Manual, which is on the website. You can get the link and be able to read through again the focus, what we're focusing on when we look at innovation grants. There's also a section there that kind of lists what we are not going to fund under innovation grant. So one of the things we will not fund is we will not fund a service delivery project. So a project where you are planning to buy certain products to help the beneficiaries. For example, if you are looking at a theme around sexual reproductive health rights, we will not fund a project that wants to buy contraceptives, for instance, in order to give to marginalized women in a certain community or marginalized young women in a certain community. So we won't fund those sort of projects. But again, I just refer you to the funding manual so that you just read it again and just see if what you are thinking matches the focus of the innovation grants. And apologies, we couldn't quite hear you. So for interpretation, you probably didn't get much for those who are listening in French and Portuguese. Back to you, Alice. Can we get one more?
Yeah, I was going to say, because we're just to make sure, I wanted to get a bit more representation to see which other question we could get. Yes. Muna? I'm just choosing randomly. I don't know if you can unmute now.
Hello.
Can hear you now.
Oh, brilliant.
Please go ahead.
Awesome. How is everyone?
Good to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I'm saying hi to everyone, where everyone is. So it's such an exciting project, and thank you for giving me the platform to speak. I've got a few questions, but I'd like to ask one first. It might better ask or answer my second question. The first one is, what impact are you aiming to achieve through this project, and how will success be measured in regards to the work that would be carrying out as implementation and youth building? Hello?
Yes, yeah, really good question. I was wondering if my colleague Rose wanted to pick that up. So 1 second. Rose? Thank you.
Okay, it's quite broad, Muna. So I guess this is not just specific to to the innovation grants. Your question looks like you're asking for the whole youth action lab, and I will refer you to our website, the AUEU Youth Lab, so that you can just get more information. But essentially, because we even when we look at the innovation grant type, which is one of the four type of grants that we are offering, for the innovation grants, we are really looking at a wide range of ideas, and the main result in terms of this program is to see the connection, around the connections that can be made among the young people in the AU and EU countries, and also the collaboration that will come out of it, and the learning that they will be able to share across the grant type. So really broadly, that's what we're trying to aim at with these grants. I hope that gives you a kind of like a broad framework.
Yeah, it actually does. Am I able to ask a second question relating to what you've elaborated on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So just to briefly touch on some of the work that I've done in East Africa, we've basically supported women returnees to their country of origin and providing vocational skill-based courses, short courses that allows these women to gain skills and toolkits where they can go into the field with their new skills as mobile service providers. And there was a lot surrounding this. My question basically is, I was selected for that project as an implementer with I guess known organizations. And I wanted to know, should partners be, or if partners were to be successful, what qualities do you look for in an ideal project partner? And I've gone through the website, by the way, but if there was one, I guess, key element you could highlight, what could we, I guess, evaluate as well as organizations, if we are the right candidates for this particular project, and also, a guidance from yourselves. So what qualities do you look for in an ideal project partner?
So first of all, Mona, for this program and our grants, we don't even refer to it as partners. They are grantees. And secondly, I would still encourage you to just go through the funding manuals. So today's webinar is on the innovation one, and we've already spoken about the focus, around the global challenges and all that, and also the eligibility criteria, which runs across the grant types. But from what you are describing, the work you are describing, it could fit under entrepreneurship grant type. So I would encourage you to just read the 4 different grant manuals that we have, because also you have highlighted a particular group of people that you work with. And so our representation grants are also focusing on particular marginalized groups. So just go back and read some more. We also have a link to our frequently asked questions, which you could also go through as you begin to evaluate yourselves before you apply.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mona.
Thanks a lot. I think we can wrap up the Q&A now. And if we can go to the next slide, please, Juliana. So for the next step, next slide again, please. Super, great. So as Rose was mentioning, there is also a frequently asked question on the website. So our invitation here is really for you to explore the website, the frequently asked question, the funding manual, to really see like if the innovation grant type is really the grant that suits the most your organization. We created, we have a community on a platform that is called Power to Voices. And in there you can meet fellow applicants, but also like it's really the space to get more insights because we will be communicated on this platform to give you tips and also like to make sure that the process is going smoothly for you. At the end of this Zoom call, when you will leave, there will be a survey popping up. So if your question was not answered, you can also reiterate in it. And we're going to follow up this webinar. We're going to add more frequently asked questions to make sure that you can really find the answer you need. One thing that is important to know is the timeline. So the call is now open and it will close on the 7th of January at 1 o'clock at 1 p.m. CTE. So please pay attention to your time zone to make sure that your application got in before the call close. And once you apply, you can follow up the status of your proposal on the platform. But I would like to thank you all the panelists, also our YAB member that joined us today, and every one of you that took the time to really get to know more what the Innovation Grant Scheme is about. And we wish you best of luck. If you have any questions further, there is also an email address on the website. We invite you to really follow up on the website. There is so much information for you to dive in. Thank you all. Wishing you a lovely day. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming. And thank you to the panelists. Thank you to our interpreters. And thank you, Sarah, for coming.